Well, tomorrow is election day in Texas, and it is St. Louis Saints heating up. I always do this little short video to kind of tell y'all what to look out for. Uh, this race between Jasmine Crockett, Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett, who is my Congresswoman, I always have seen that. This race between Congresswoman Crockett and James Talarico is still too close to call, some people are saying. But you can always tell who and what the Republicans fear most. Now, I'm going to be talking more about the Republicans after tomorrow night, after the primary, after we know for sure if it's going to be my Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett or if it's going to be State Representative James Talarico. I'm going to talk more about the Republicans after the primary. But the Republicans have already trained their sights on both of these candidates because it really is a toss-up which one of these candidates is going to prevail. And both of these candidates, Talarico and Crockett, scares the bejeebers out of the Republicans because they've just never seen Democratic candidates like these two young, progressive, intelligent, high energy, high vote getting Democrats. They've not seen that. They have seen, and what they're used to is what they have seen the past 30 some odd years, but that's not the case. These two young, fantastic candidates, they broke that mold. And the Republicans don't know what to expect. But you can always tell what the Republicans fear by how they go about attacking. Now, in politics, people always think that opponents attack weaknesses, but that's not true. Having run 5 city council races myself, I won 4, lost 1. I learned that first time. What opponents go after is not our weaknesses. They go after what is perceived to be our greatest strength. And that is what's happening with Republicans, with Talarico and with Jasmine Crockett. You can tell what they fear by what they attack. And what they attack are the strengths that they perceive to be the greatest strengths of these candidates. Now, I'm going to show you a couple of clips. I'm going to also show you a couple of memes, because I want to be fair to both of these candidates. I have come to love and admire them both. Of course, I'm partial to my Congresswoman because she has done an absolutely fantastic job in taking over from what had been an icon in Texas, Eddie Bernice Johnson. But I have tried to be, in my analysis of this race, as fair and as open as I can be. Some accuse me of being too pro-Talarico. Some accuse me of being anti-Talarico. Others accuse me of being too pro-Crockett, and then others accuse me of being too anti-Crockett. I guess that's a good thing when you get accused like equally of both. But I have tried to be balanced to give not only people in Texas a fair view and not a political one, a fair analysis of these candidates, as well as people who are outside of Texas, because, I mean, this is the hottest race in the country right now. And we know, however this race goes, is how the rest of the country is going to go. And I have been saying since December that Texas, that the Democrats have a more than better chance, better than better, or as we say, gooder than gooder, chance of capturing this seat. I have been saying this for the past several months. I've been saying it for months. Because the Republicans, the candidates that the Republicans have put up, as I said before, these are the weakest Republican candidates that I can remember. And I'm a 5th generation Texan. I've seen a whole bunch of races in this state. And the slate that they have to choose from, these Republicans, Talarico or Congresswoman Crockett could beat either Paxton or Corning or Wesley Hunt. And I keep saying it's going to be Paxton. And it's going to be interesting to see As I said, I would talk about more about the Republicans after this. But it's going to be interesting to see Republicans twist themselves in a knot to because they have claimed the mantle of Christianity. And here in Texas, particularly in North Texas, where I live in the Dallas area, it is ground zero for Christian nationalism. So you got all these religious people, all these Christian nationalists. Robert Jeffress, the First Baptist Church, Robert Jeffress is here in Dallas too. Robert Jeffress has endorsed Ken Paxton. I mean, not Ken Paxton. He's endorsed John Cornyn, which is very interesting because I am betting on Ken Paxton being the candidate. Now, they don't want Ken Paxton to be the candidate because Ken Paxton is so dirty. Ken Paxton is not dirty. Let me take that back. Ken Paxton is not dirty. Ken Paxton is filthy, dirty. Now, Ken Paxton is MAGA's man. Ken Paxton is Trump's guy. Although Trump is saying, he's not endorsing, he's come out and said, I think he's saying he's endorsing all three. But ain't no way in this world he is going to endorse a Wesley Hunt. As black as he is, he ain't going to do it. And he knows Wesley Hunt is not going to win. He's not going to endorse Cornyn. I believe he's going to endorse Paxton. Now, what Trump is going to do, Paxton has been Trump's man forever. But see, Trump is about Trump. And once this primary is over, I am betting that Paxton is going to be the guy and Paxton is going to come out, on top. But it is going to be a runoff between Cornyn and Paxton. Whichever one of those two get the highest votes, that's who Trump is going to go with. Because Trump doesn't want to go with the loser. Now, that's what the pundits are saying. I'm saying, even if John Cornyn comes out on top of Paxton and is in a runoff and Cornyn gets more votes than Paxton, but they are still in a runoff because of the Wesley Hunt factor, I'm still betting on Paxton. Now, what's going to be interesting to see, Robert Jeffress is the pastor, only second to Franklin Graham. Isn't it funny how quiet Franklin Graham has been? But Jeffress came out last week and endorsed Cornyn. It is going to be interesting to see how these Republicans, between Trump and Paxton and Cornyn and Robert Jeffress, it's going to be interesting to see. Because Jeffress has endorsed Cornyn, the bet is that Trump is going to endorse Paxton, and that is going to be something to watch. That's going to be something to watch. But back to this primary that everybody's watching between Talarico and Jasmine Crockett. The Republicans fear these two candidates. And the Republicans, they're so predictable. They're very predictable. So you have to know with Congresswoman Crockett, they are going to try and portray her as some kind of clown, as some kind of a ghetto girl, with Talarico. Guess what they're going to go after with Talarico? Now, Talarico, he has this image of being squeaky clean. I call him Opie Taylor. Actually, I call him Opie Taylor. I do. I call him James Opie Taylor Talarico. He just reminds me of Opie Taylor. Anywho, what they're going to come after with Talarico is his greatest strength, and that is his faith. And we have seen that early on. Because like I say, the Republicans are very predictable. So we already know if Talarico comes out of this on top, they're going to go after his faith because that is his strength. If Congresswoman Crockett comes out of this, they're gonna go after her persona. They're going to go after to try to make her look like a ghetto girl. They're going to try to make her look ignorant because she is so very intelligent. But that's what they're going to go after because her intelligence and her gift of gab are her strengths. So that's what they're going to go after. Now, let me show you a little bit of what I'm talking about. I am going to, in deference to, I think I did last time, Talarico first. But in deference to my Congresswoman, I'm going to show you what I mean when I talk about how they're going to go after her, because we have indications of that a month ago from JD Vance. So let's start with this. Let's start with this.
And Jasmine Crockett. Oh, Jasmine Crockett. The record speaks for itself. She wants to be a senator, though her street girl persona is about as real as her nails. And Jasmine Crockett. Oh, Jasmine Crockett. The record speaks for itself. She wants to be a senator, though her street girl persona is about as real as her nails.
Ha 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 ha. So see what I'm talking about. See, he can't go after her on her intelligence. He can't go after her on her record. He will go after her, and the Republicans are going to go after her if Congresswoman Crockett is the victor. They're going to go after her. They're going to go after her intelligence, and they're going to go after her her unique way, her unique way of communicating and connecting with her base, with the public, that they cannot. And it is a way that Congresswoman Crockett has that endears the public to her. And what Vance was doing is trying to knock her down a notch to attack what is her greatest strength. And that is her ability to communicate in ways that we have not seen, that I know I haven't seen, and I know a number of us haven't seen, as we have watched Congresswoman Crockett go from state representative to Congresswoman Crockett and make the kind of impressions that she have made, not only nationally, but internationally, with her ability to communicate the way that she does and her ability to distill down the issues in ways that connect with the public. Let me show you what I mean by that. What he meant as an attack and as an insult is her greatest strength. And that's why he went after that. And if she prevails in this primary, that is exactly what they're going to go after. They're going to go after that. But let me show you let me show you what I'm talking about. How she, he called her street girl persona and ghetto girl. Well, let me show you the street girl. Let me show you this.
We're outvoting the Republicans, am I right? Yes. So everybody been telling us for years, the only way we're gonna win is if we go out and beg Republicans to vote for our candidate. No. We have enough Democrats in the state of Texas to win. November. Yes. You gotta come back out. You gotta stay engaged. Yes. Yeah. And we gotta bring more people because they are really upset, y'all. Yes. Yes. But more importantly, there is no way for the Republicans to get the White House back without Texas. Yep. Just like they ain't got their hands back on Georgia quite yet, yep, they can't afford to fight for Texas. No. Mm-hmm. So y'all keep making them mad. Yes. Yeah. Y'all keep showing up. Every day. We're outvoting the Republicans, am I right? Yes. So everybody been telling us for years, the only way we're gonna win is if we go out and beg Republicans to vote for our candidate. No. We have enough Democrats in the state of Texas to win. November. Yes. You gotta come back out. You gotta stay engaged. Yes. Yeah. And we gotta bring more people because they are really upset, y'all. Yes. Yes. But more importantly, there is no way for the Republicans to get the White House back without Texas. Yep. Just like they ain't got their hands back on Georgia quite yet, yep, they can't afford to fight for Texas. No. Mm-hmm. So y'all keep making them mad. Yes. Yeah. Y'all keep showing up. Every day.
Yeah, that's what he calls a street girl persona. Is her unique ability to connect with the people. That is her greatest strength. strength, and that is their greatest fear. And and that has what has propelled her to be where she is now. Talarico, and I had to play that twice. I'll tell y'all, I'm trying to be fair, because I was not going to play J.D. Vance with that craziness he said twice, and not play my Congresswoman twice, so you could see what he calls street girl, what her supporters in her district in Texas calls connecting with the people. And that is a unique ability. That is her strength. And that is why he chose to go after that. Because remember I said, in politics, your opponent is always going to go after your strength. Now, for Talarico, I don't have reels for him, but let me show you how John Cornyn is going after Talarico. I'm going to show you a couple of memes. See, Talarico's strength is his faith. So John Cornyn is going after his faith. And this is a meme he put up that he is running on Christianity. This is the record. And he's quoting James Talarico. I'm sure he's taking this quote out of context. What James Talarico said, atheists are more Christ-like than Christians. Now, that is meant to be on John Cornyn's part an attack on the strength that Talarico brings, and that is his faith. Let's look at another one. Let's look at this one, where he compares himself, his own faith, to Talarico, where he says faith matters in Texas. And then he has the checklist, and he has James Talarico, God is non-binary. John Cornyn says, defends the unborn. James Talarico, the Bible permits abortion. John Cornyn comes back, respects scripture. James Talarico redefines Christian doctrine. John Cornyn upholds traditional values. James Talarico, progressive theology. John Cornyn, Texas conservative. Now, what Texas conservative has to do with theology, that's the problem right there, because they have conflated their politics with religion, and that's what scares them about James Talarico. James Talarico makes no bones about his faith, and that is his strength. So that is what they're going to go after with James Talarico. So I just wanted to pop on and say that as we prepare for this primary, the most important primary in my lifetime for sure. And as I said, I'm going to talk more about the Republican primary after this, because they are in a hot mess. They are in a hot mess, the Republicans. Because what they have to choose from is a John Cornyn who's very, very, very unpopular with Republicans in Texas. He's not even popular with Trump, although he says he is, and he's, voted with Donald Trump 99% of the time. Well, it's that 1% that MAGA doesn't like. And that 1%, when John Cornyn, and I'm going to say this more, I'm going to say this and I'm going to get off it. John Cornyn voted for a bipartisan gun control bill during the Biden administration. And MAGAs have long memories. And MAGAs said back then, it was a very, it didn't go as far reaching as it should have. But the fact that John Cornyn voted for that gun control bill, which was really, it did nothing. MAGAs swore, and I hope I can go back and find the clip. They swore then that they would get back at John Cornyn, and they have long memories, and they are evil. So them getting back at John Cornyn is denying him re-election. And the MAGAs are too racist to go for Wesley Hunt. I don't care how white Wesley Hunt presents himself to be, and I don't care how white his wife is. He's still black. He's not gonna represent them. So the only thing that they're left with is Paxton. That's the quagmire that they're in. And Paxton has cost us in Texas over $6 million on this whistleblower case that 4 of his deputies brought against him for firing them. The courts found for them, but guess who had to pay that tab? We did as Texans. Not only that, what was it? Something like $4 million that the Texas legislature had to spend on his impeachment trial. He got impeached in the House, but the Senate did not impeach him, so he got off. And then his horrible personal life. He's in, I don't know, according to John Cornyn, he's in another affair. But the affair that, everybody, was in front of God and everybody was with a Christian influencer who's also a mother of 7. See, it's just all kind of tawdry stuff, just nasty stuff. But that's the guy who they have, but he's their guy. So can you imagine him up against a Jasmine Crockett or a James Talarico? And that is what's worrying Republicans in Texas. And that's why I say, whichever one of these candidates prevail tomorrow night, whether it's Congresswoman Crockett or whether it's James Talarico, baby, they're going to be tough to beat come November. We're going to keep an eye on it. See ya.